Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I brought out one of my favorite t-shirts. We're going to be talking about authenticity, finally. This is going to be one part of a many series video recurring theme that you will see over the next couple of months. Every time I get a new inspiration or new suggestion or question from one of you guys, we will make a video answering and addressing that subject regarding authentication of designer bags. For those of you who are new here, my name's Catherine, my channel is KWSHOPS. I've worked in the pre-loved luxury industry for over 5 years now. I am technically an authenticator, although I don't do authentication itself professionally, but I am very familiar and has been for the last few years of what to look for and how to spot fakes. So yes, the number one question I get asked about authenticity, because you guys know I have been asking you guys to throw out questions to me about things you wanted to know about it. And the number one question I got is, how do I spot a fake? How do I know a bag is fake? How can I tell a bag is real? That's sort of a broad question, so I'm gonna give you a couple of broad answers in how I do that. And today I have my t-shirt, which is perfect for this video. I got this on Etsy. I will link it down below. It's really fun. It is I guess we're gonna call it a knockoff, or it's like sort of like a tongue-in-cheek version of the Gucci t-shirt. I love this. I think it's really funny and super cool. To me, this is not the same thing as a counterfeit. First, let me just go over the definitions. I think of counterfeits and replicas different than dupes or copies. For me, a counterfeit or a replica is something that is actually pretending to be something that it is not, meaning that you have a Celine bag that says Celine made in Italy, foreshadowing, and it is not a genuine Celine piece. Whereas I think of a dupe or a copy as sort of like when Gucci will make a shoe and then Steve Madden will make a similar style shoe. Yes, obviously Gucci may not love that, but Steve Madden is not pretending to be Gucci, if that makes sense. To get started, I want to say I have about 8 things that are just huge red flags to me and how I know bags or items are fake. In today's video, I will be featuring a counterfeit bag. Now, I'm going to be going through sort of the anatomy of a counterfeit, and this is the example I'm going to be using. I've had this for many, many years, and I actually did a video years ago comparing this to a genuine bag of the same style, and I will leave that linked in the description box down below. Hopefully you guys check that out if you haven't already. Yes, we're going to be going through some of the finer points of this bag and things to look for when you are trying to determine whether or not a bag you're looking at is real. Show you. I'm going to leave this linked down below. This is on Fashion Files website, and while this isn't anything new necessarily, they launched this maybe a year or so ago. You're going to go down to the bottom menu and you're going to go to test your skills. You are shown 2 pictures that you toggle it to the left and right to compare side by side which bag is real and which one is counterfeit. Now, these are among some of the better counterfeits I've ever seen. The only thing is you're only given about 6 pictures to decide from. Some of them will give you the serial number. That's usually the main way that I tell, but you are able to just compare these finer details side by side. And just based on that, we're going to go through to see which ones, based on all the details that were given, I'm going to say the one on the right. Woohoo! Nicely done. So I think they have about 10 of them available, and you can just go through and compare your authentication skills side by side. So I will leave this linked down below. Please check it out and let me know what your score is. So now, the first thing you're going to want to look at when you are trying to determine whether or not something you're shopping for is real or fake is before you've even gotten the item, and that is the seller. There are a series of questions I want you to ask yourself before you may even go through with the purchase of an item. The first question is, which platform are they using to sell? How did you come in contact with this person? The ones that I am the most leery of, unfortunately, one of them is not a platform, and that's Instagram. Shopping through Instagram, you need to be very careful that you're shopping with a reputable company. Generally speaking, if you tend to see their WhatsApp contact information in the bio of their Instagram, that to me is a red flag. That's something that is very typical of counterfeiters. Also, Poshmark, while it is in itself a reputable place to shop and does have buyer protection, however, there are a lot of fakes there. I've told you guys before that one of my guilty bored pleasure things that I do is go on Poshmark and report replicas in my bored time when I just am thinking of nothing to do. The other thing to ask yourself with these sellers is, do they have large quantities or really any quantity of a piece? Do they have it in multiple colors? That's not very typical of a reseller for designer goods. Obviously that, anything is possible, but that is something to look out for. And the last thing you really want to look out for is if they're talking about the quality of their merchandise. I just want to make a point here very, very clear. Resellers are not responsible for the quality of the merchandise that they sell. The designer or the manufacturer are the ones that should be touting the quality, not the reseller. I, as a reseller, can't be held responsible for Louis Vuitton's manufacturing. That just doesn't make sense. Sort of keep that thought in your head. Anyone who is touting the quality of something that they're allegedly reselling, that doesn't add up. So be on the lookout for people saying things like grade A quality, AAA quality, 1-to-1 quality, or if they're outright calling their item a counterfeit or a replica. It's a pretty obvious sign that these items are not authentic designer merch. Now the next things to be on the lookout for, and this is once again before you've looked at the bag itself, what's important to look at the packaging and included accessories that the item comes with. Now what's great about YouTube is that there are countless unboxing videos for current merchandise as well as for the last, I guess, 7 to 9 years. So people have really taken the time and shown you what should come with a designer purchase. Now with that being said, I have spoken about this in the past. If you are missing certain items like authenticity cards and receipts, that's not the end of the world. However, what you're looking for are items that do not come with certain designer brands. For example, Louis Vuitton does not have serial cards. Gucci will have possibly a care card for the leather and a controllato card with the numbers 1 through 9 on it. But Chanel is the only one I can think of that actually does have cards with a unique serial number on it. Look for what tags that it comes with. If there's anything that it does come with that is unnecessary or extra or more than you've ever seen, then that should set off alarm bells in your head. The other thing is the materials, of the included accessories. Now for my example here, we have, again, you have not seen this bag yet because we haven't even opened it, but the material of this dust bag that came with this bag is incorrect for a bag that should cost close to $3,000. One thing that has rang true for most all designers that I've ever seen is that the dust bags will be of a high quality type of fabric, and this is not that. This might be cotton, but it's very thin, and it is like any other drawstring bag that you would find at a dollar store or anything like that. Very, very cheap. This is an immediate red flag, especially considering that it does say the designer name on the outside. No. One more thing, it is very rare. Most designers, Louis Vuitton specifically, does not attach tags to the interior of the bag. If you see plastic tags or plastic rings, not rings, but plastic tag strings, I am really blanking on the word for what I'm trying to express is. Hopefully I can find a photo of what I'm talking about and put it here. But it is not typical for the designers to have tags like that on the inside. Obviously there will always be exceptions, and do take into account that if you buy something pre-loved, past resellers may have added those tags on the inside. So it's something to be aware of, but not necessarily a deal breaker unless it is a tag that says Louis Vuitton on the inside. Louis Vuitton so far as I have ever known, does not attach tags to the inside of their handbags. So now we actually are opening up the dust bag for this bag, and I'm looking at some of the key points and finer features in knowing that this is a replica. This is a replica of the Celine Nano. You guys have seen this bag before. I got this in 2013 as a gift. So the first thing I'm looking at is the materials and the quality. And to me, in my experience, this is not the quality of a bag that should retail at $2,700 plus tax here in the US. The first thing I want you to see is the hardware. The hardware on this bag is, first of all, it doesn't necessarily match. It has been my experience with designer bags that the hardware materials are generally made from the same material, like the same metal is used on all of the hardware. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. One thing you will never see on a designer bag is a plastic zipper that has been painted to look like metal. That is a huge red flag of a counterfeit designer bag. Any exterior hardware or zipper or anything like that will be at least made of metal and painted gold or silver or whatever. And yes, you may see some tarnishing and some chipping over the course of wear, but you should not see a plastic zipper with gold or silver paint. But also, especially with vintage bags, you may see interior zippers that are made of plastic. That's not entirely unheard of, but you just generally speaking on the outside, you should not see any type of plastic hardware. So the next thing we're gonna look at are the fonts of everything written on this bag. The dead giveaway for me of this bag is that the font on the Celine gold foil is incorrect for this bag, and for some reason fonts are not something that counterfeiters tend to get right, and as you will see, the N in Celine is incorrect. What it should look like is the way it's printed on the dust bag. The diagonals of this bag are more pointed as opposed to being square. Huge red flags. Huge red flag. Designers are not going to get their own font and marketing and branding wrong. That's just not going to happen. Although, do bear in mind, it may have changed over the course of many years, which is why it's worth doing your research, but they're not going to mess it up.
What I like to use from Fashionphile is the sold items or the archived items that they leave listed on their website. So we're going to go down to the bottom menu, and you're going to find sold items here under shopping, and this is basically something I just like to use for reference. So let's see, we're going to scroll down and pick a piece. How about this red Chanel? So this is something that I do to compare an item that I have in front of me. So this is the mini rectangular flap. I'll see how many squares go across the widest part of the quilt. I'll have a look at the strap drop approximately, how close the pocket is to the edge, and we're going to look inside to see the foil stamp, made in Italy, and the most important thing obviously is the serial number. Now they don't show the entire serial number for Chanel. This is you only see the first couple of digits just to determine what series it's a part of. This is a 24 series, which means that there's a certain year or range of years that this bag was created. The main thing you want to look for is comparison to the font. That is the most important thing to me when I am authenticating merchandise. So here's another tool. I'm going to leave this link down below in the description box as well, so you can just do a side-by-side comparison on some of the items that you happen to have in front of you or any online listings that you're looking at.
So now this is sort of specific to this bag that I have here, but you want the interior materials. You want to look for the interior lining material. Interior linings are something that cheaper bags tend to get wrong because it's not as important. With counterfeits, when people are buying them, they want the look of the bag. They aren't going for the feel or the quality. So it's very typical that they'll skimp on things like interiors because only one person is going to be touching the inside of a bag versus people on the street seeing it. I hope that makes sense. In this bag is supposed to be lined in suede. What I have instead is lined in micro suede, microfiber, whatever you want to call it. This is something that's going to be very specific on a bag-to-bag basis. There is no one blanket statement of what a bag should be made of, because obviously that's unique to every style of bag. However, do your research and know what materials should be made on the inside. Read descriptions. I'm going to link Fashion File down below. They leave all of their sold merchandise available for viewing on the internet even after it's sold. So do check down there. I will have some links. So next we have serial numbers, and again, this is not the best fake out there. There are much better fakes out there on the market. Obviously, I'm not going to buy one because I don't believe in that, but I will show you the serial card and serial sticker that came with this bag. The way I know immediately that a certain type of bag will be counterfeit is if the serial number or the date code or whatever is incorrect in the wrong format, or once again using the wrong font. Louis Vuitton is very easy. Louis Vuitton uses date codes that has the 2 letters for the factory name and a 3 or 4 digit number depending on when the bag is made. But what's very often is they will get wrong at the number scheme or whatever, or it'll be from a date that doesn't exist, or be from a date that isn't correct for the bag. For example, the Louis Vuitton Neverfull went into production for the first time in 2007. To have a date code that reads from before the year 2007 would be incorrect. The other thing that I mostly see with Chanel bags is that the fonts tend to be wrong on the replicas, and I will leave links to some other trusted resources about serial codes for Chanel in the description box down below. Please check those out. Next are the actual materials and craftsmanship. Again, I'm gonna say it again, this is not a great replica. It's not that good. I am venturing to guess that the exterior of this bag is made from leather, but a lot of the time the counterfeits will not be made from real leather or made from real suede. That's something that you really can only go by feel. It's really hard to tell from pictures. And lastly, this is something that isn't so much of a problem anymore, but you will see from like older models, like older counterfeit bags. I've come across some counterfeit bags that the made in will be wrong. Once again, fonts are important. The font is wrong, the bag is wrong. However, the made in stamp is meant to be the country of origin. If you see a city name like Paris, Milan, Firenze, that will tend to be around the name of the designer somewhere. You won't see made in a city. I have seen really not good fakes have stamps that say made in Paris. It didn't say made in Paris, France. That bag could have been made in Paris, Texas, or it could have just not been true. That is, again, not something that you tend to see in the more sophisticated counterfeit bags, but it is something that I have personally seen in my own experience. So, made in a country, always. Okay guys, I'm starting to lose my light, but I hope this video was helpful. I got this question a lot, how do you spot fakes? And that was always, like, again, it's a multitude of things. It's never one thing, it's never one item from this list that sets off my alarm bells. But once you start hitting like 2 or 3, then that's when you start to know the bag is fake, with the exception of the serial numbers and the fonts. Designers don't get their own fonts wrong. Just remember that always. I'm gonna leave my favorite authenticators linked in the description box down below. And please do bear in mind that with the tips that I found, or the tips that I have for this video, it took many years of experience for me to be able to know this, and still ultimately, the biggest way that I know a bag is fake is by touch. If you are used to coming in contact with something and you're used to it feeling a certain way, if it doesn't feel that way, that's the #1 way that I know that something is off. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informational. I will leave as many links and resources in the description box down below, as well as a super fun quiz from Fashion File of testing your skills on what's fake and what's real. It's actually really informative and really hard. Again, this is going to be part of a recurring series here on my channel, so expect to see more authentication videos in the future. If you guys have any questions, and I'm sure you will, please comment them down below, and I will hopefully I will address them in a video in the future. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was informative, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!